Hi, we're Affective by Team Germ. So this was made by Jane, Eliza, Matt, and Richard. Affective is a web-based tool for individuals to retrain their ability to recognize and express emotions based off facial expressions. This is a really common issue in people who've had strokes, have various like frontotemporal dementias and other disorders. Game one focuses on relearning the ability to recognize emotions, while game two focuses on the ability to express them. We also created a backend which connects both games and also implements score tracking and account creation.
So for game one, we used HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. For game two, we used Python and React. And as for the backend, we used Python for Django. And as for the requirements went, we wanted two games. We wanted to have a randomized presentation of emotions, scoring, and lives tracking, and also using an API. And as for stretch goals, some of them are listed right here, like percentage correct overall and identifying emotions that are hardest for the users.
We ran into a number of challenges, the biggest ones just being that each of us had limited knowledge in Python up to 161 and 162, and we also had different knowledge in different technologies and languages, so Python was our own commonality. And our second biggest one was integrating each game with the backend. We were able to save the scores from game one, but we were unable to save scores from game two with the time limit we had.
So we learned how to code and work together as a team for this. It was our first time really collaborating in this way. We also increased our knowledge of front-end and back-end development as beginners and learned how to incorporate APIs and live features in our work. Some future directions is more features, more metrics, more analysis. The more data we can gather, the more helpful this resource could be, especially maybe contributing some kind of graphic to help track progress. Also finding a better API. We had some issues with accuracy in the API and it lacks some emotions. We also would love to make a mobile application version with a child-friendly UI. We think this same technology can be really helpful for children on the autistic spectrum that can help really put words in identifying their emotions.
So here we have the basic landing page for Affective. So the first time a player arrives, they would create an account where they can enter their chosen username and then their password, which I have to make sure that they match. And then as it turns out, password is not the most secure password to use. But once they've created an account or signed in to an existing one, they come to this player homepage where they can choose between the available games. So starting with game one, the emotion recognition. Basically, it's got some instructions down here at the bottom for how to play the game. And then when the player starts, a random emotion is displayed and the player has to select the matching emotion down at the bottom. And the game will let them know if they were correct. So this person looks surprised, and this person looks neutral to me, but then say I thought that this person looked angry, the game would tell me that we were incorrect, and you can see that our lives sort of decreased as a result. So when the player's lives reach zero or they click the stop button, the game comes to an end and the score gets submitted. The second game is the expression game, where the player is prompted to either upload an image from their computer or using a webcam that matches the prompted emotion. So for instance, if the player chooses to use their webcam, then here we'll just use an image off my phone. They can capture and retake the image as needed, and then they can submit it to the AI that will then hopefully be able to tell them correctly whether or not they displayed the prompted emotion, and then their score and lives will be tracked similarly to game one until they either run out of lives or choose to stop the game. And then finally, the player can choose to look at their score report, again, at this time only for game one, where the history of their games that they've played is displayed. For now, this user only has one game, but as they continue playing, this will show just a history of their games played so they can track their progress.